Thank you guys for joining the Iowa Entrepreneur Podcast. I am Raul Espinoza, and today I am with Alex Mortenson, with the GM of Uptown Garage. Hey, Alex.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Thanks for joining us for the podcast.
Thank you.
Is it your first time being in a podcast?
First time being in a live podcast.
In a live podcast.
Yeah.
Awesome. How do you feel?
I feel good. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, first off, if anyone hasn't known about Uptown Garage yet, what would you tell them in a few words what it's like? Is it, a tap room brewery? What would you say? How would you describe Uptown Garage?
Right now, I'd say we're an Iowa beer focused tap room. There are plans for brewing, but at the moment, we're an Iowa beer focused tap room. So we have 36 taps, all Iowa beer, tons of other options in cans and bottles, but really wanted to focus on the Iowa craft beer scene.
Cool. I know what interested me with you guys was the fact that you collaborate with so many breweries throughout Iowa, and it's bringing the community together from outside of the central Iowa region, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's been a huge goal of mine from the get-go is to reach out to kind of the four corners of Iowa and just find all kinds of different breweries that you don't always have represented in the central Iowa, the Des Moines metro area.
Yeah.
So one that's done really well and honestly makes incredible beer is Contrary out of Muscatine.
Contrary.
Yeah. So we usually have a couple of their beers on tap, for example, and it's one that you don't always get everywhere.
Okay. I knew that one was pretty popular. Their Pineapple Head Milkshake IPA was like huge the first couple days, wasn't it?
Yeah, it sold out in 6 hours.
6 hours.
Yeah, I had to get more of that for sure.
How did that idea come to be? Like, you guys just thought, you know what, we should have only Iowa beers on tap. Like, how did that come across?
It was just kind of an idea that popped up in talking about, the different ways that we could run with this. And I think we all just generally had the same idea that it would be really cool to just focus on that alone. We have plenty of cooler space that if people want to come and get Sierra Nevada or a Busch Light or whatever they can, but being able to just really focus on that craft beer scene, because I think Iowa is very much an up and coming presence in craft beer.
Oh, for sure. I think the 100th brewery just opened up a few weeks ago, right? Out in Lamars, which is crazy to me.
Over 100 now, which is just
that is cool,
mind blowing. So
for the listeners out there and viewers too, some people don't know or have had a craft beer. They always think beer. They think Budweiser or Busch Light and all that. Is there a difference for those who haven't had it? Can you explain?
Absolutely. I think craft beer is kind of, people get a bad idea sometimes about craft beer when they're used to drinking sort of your standard American domestics.
Yeah. Okay.
There are so many different styles of beer that craft beer, I think, started and conceptually as small breweries that were making their own beer. It's kind of like craft root beer. Okay, gotcha. You go somewhere and they have their own root beer, but you can go and get A&W at the store.
A&W, that's right.
You can go to any brewery and get any of these different styles of beers, but it's different than just going and getting some Busch Light or a Bud Light. And I think that craft beer started very small, but it's become so big now that anything that's not kind of the big names is craft beer,
True.
And so it's anything from small little breweries that have a 10-barrel or a 3-barrel system even, and all the way up to places like Sierra Nevada that would be considered craft beer.
Yeah, that's crazy. I guess no one ever could tell the difference. And the same thing with, like, I guess it would be with coffee. There's the coffee connoisseur kind of thing where they do the pour overs, they do the French press, they do all this stuff. And people just out of their Keurig are so used to the coffee there, or Folgers, and they do that. It's kind of the same thing, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. If you were to go next door to Porchlight Coffee versus some Folgers out of the can, I would say that's craft coffee versus, your big name brand.
Yeah. And all the flavors you get out of your craft stuff is just, you guys have a whole chart for that too, kind of like with coffee?
Yeah, there are different scales and different ratings as far as not just ABV, but then also the color, flavor. There's different levels of certifications that craft beer judges go through, and the tests that they have to do, blind tests and picking out what hops were used just by drinking it and things like that. So there's a whole there's a whole spectrum to it, just like coffee.
Awesome. Well, with Uptown Garage, what would you say is a day? How does it go? Like a day in the life at the garage. Like you walk in the door, you're here before open. What's your life like managing such a big brewing company?
Chaos.
Nice.
No, it's the big things are going to be inventory.
Okay.
We sell beer. I have to make sure that we have beer, and I have to make sure that we have a wide variety. My goal from the get-go has been, I want to make sure that we have something for everybody. Anybody that walks through
Okay.
the door, they'll find something. They can't say, well, they don't have anything for me, from the thickest, darkest barrel-aged stouts to a Busch Light and
Okay.
everywhere in between, and so making sure that I have the inventory. I spend a lot of time in the cooler organizing and going through and figuring out what we have, but then there's a lot of time spent with emails.
Yeah.
For me,
yeah.
it's a lot of that sort of just kind of the grind work where you're answering questions,
Yeah.
dealing with reservations, putting together events. That's another big one.
Okay. Has it been pretty easy here? And because I noticed those of you guys who haven't been here that are listening, there's a really cool patio out back that has like AstroTurf and a lot of space for people to go out there, and you have bag tournaments.
Mhm.
Can you explain a little bit about how that's changed, ever since it opened up back there?
Yeah.
Do people usually, well, now it's getting cold, but what do people think about that when they come in and see you?
I mean, they love it. They love it. When we first opened the patio space, which you've seen is huge. It's over 2,000 square feet, and it was weird because we didn't have patio furniture right when we opened, and so there were a lot of people that wanted to use that patio,
Yeah.
and they'd go out and you could tell they wanted somewhere to sit. And then as soon as we got the furniture, it was just exploded,
Yep.
and people were out there constantly. We've got bags, boards, and other yard games, and people were out there playing just nonstop.
Awesome.
Which is great. They could go out there and play some games, or even just sit and enjoy a beer while their kids went and played on the turf, or whatever.
Nice.
So really opened up a lot of option, and on a nice day we can open up that garage door in the back and just have that
makes it
indoor
easy
outdoor
for the food trucks too, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So food trucks have been a huge hit. We've got a great space back there, and it had a really nice rotation, and
Good.
on many occasions actually had food trucks completely sell out, which is
Very nice.
fantastic for everyone involved.
Yeah.
So
I know I was here last week, and Royce Johns was playing, and that who was here? Eat Street Des Moines.
Street Eats Des Moines.
Street Eats
yeah.
Des Moines was
Yeah.
here, which is great Philly and stuff that I had, and the jalapeno poppers. So I was like recommending
Yeah.
to people coming in, like, try the jalapeno poppers. And they would come in and be like, I guess they're already out. I'm like, what? And the guy had to leave early because he sold out.
Because he sold out.
And I'm sure, some people were a little upset, but that's good for the guy.
It
I'm
is,
sure he was
absolutely.
stoked, and he might come back and do it again.
Exactly. And, I mean, that was his first time here, and I've had,
Okay.
other trucks that they've sold out, and then immediately it's, when can we come back?
Awesome.
So bringing that, having that option for people where, while there are tons of, fantastic places in the Uptown area that people can eat,
Sure.
Leaning Tower or Uptown Food and Beverage, tons of Clipper Tacos
Clipper
on
has
Tuesday,
amazing tacos. Oh yeah.
all kinds of great options, but people being able to just walk 20 feet, grab something off the truck, come back in, watch their game, or get back to playing whatever, and just drinking their beer and having a good time, it makes all the difference.
Oh, it does.
So,
And I forgot the gentleman's name, but he had like a little system where you order up at the truck, and kind of at the nice restaurants, you have your little thing that
the
buzzes.
buzzer.
He
Yeah.
had a little buzzer with him, and I was like, dude, this is perfect.
Mhm.
That was the first time I've seen it, at least at a brewery of some sorts.
Yeah. And then there's
So-
a couple of trucks that I'm coordinating with that are going that route, which I think is
It makes
fantastic.
sense, especially in the colder days.
Exactly. As it gets colder, you don't have to stand out there being cold, waiting for your tacos
Yeah.
or whatever. So, yeah.
Well, and speaking of Uptown, I know there's a lot of history with this building,
Mhm.
and if people that haven't been in here, could you tell them, like, describe a little bit of the interior and why you guys chose to go with, that old sort of garage feel?
Yeah, absolutely. The building itself is 90 years old. It was built in 1930, and it was, when it opened, a Ford showroom and garage. So the front
Awesome.
half, when you walk in the front doors, you're in what used to be the old showroom. You'd
Okay.
be able to buy brand new Ford 1930 trucks and cars, and
Those
then
were
the
the
back
days.
half, yeah, right. And then the back half used to be the garage area. And so it was that for many years, sort of their service area.
Very
and
cool.
and then later in its life, it was Miller Auto, which was also a body shop. And so for the majority of the lifespan of this building, it's been automotive. So it was kind of a no-brainer,
Yeah.
go with the automotive theme, really just dive in and embrace the rich history that the
Mhm.
building has, and when you come in, you can see that. You can see the old original brick that instead of whitewashing it, instead of painting it, we just sealed it.
Yeah,
you know
it kind of has such a nice feel to it when you walk in, kind of a familiar feeling, like if you're going into your grandpa's shop, you're
exactly.
just here to hang out. All your
Exactly.
worries kind of go away, and you're like, dude, this place is cool.
Yeah.
It just feels special.
And that was the goal, is to make it feel comfortable, make it feel like you're in your own garage. I've had
Nice.
many people say when they walk in, they're like, I can still smell the motor oil,
That's cool.
and then, yeah, that's neat.
That's
It
very
just, it
nostalgic.
shows the history, and I think we did a really good job of paying homage to that, and
Yeah.
keeping it comfortable and keeping it
Totally.
relaxed.
When you got a kids area too, which
Yeah.
stokes out all the parents when they come in.
Oh, for sure. For
Because
sure.
then one can really focus on the child, and the other one can have fun, or vice
Mhm.
versa. So,
Yeah, I had I had this great interaction with a couple of gals, and they were in. No, this couple came in with their kids. They loved the kids area. They told me, this is amazing. We'll be back tomorrow. They brought back 12 people and all of their kids, and they just descended on the
gosh.
kids area, took it over.
Wow.
It was great. The one girl was like, I haven't seen my husband in 2 hours. He's doing this. We're good. Like, we're just having a great
Yeah.
time. We never, all of us, get to hang out like this. And I think that's amazing to be able to facilitate that kind of an experience for people.
Well,
Just-
yeah, you're not just. That's what I had an interview the other day where I was asking someone about. Well, I told them, you come in and there's something to do for everybody.
Mhm.
There's board games. You guys have Dealt Hand come in and bring in some unique games, but you got games of your own.
Yeah.
And then you got the kids area. You have root beer on tap, which is delicious. And
Yeah.
those reclaimed rails, right?
Yeah.
Root
Yep.
beer.
Reclaimed rails.
What other choices does someone have that may be listening? That's like, well, I don't really drink craft beer. What would you
Yeah.
invite them to drink?
Like I said, my goal from the beginning has been, no one can walk through the door and say there's nothing here for me. And so, we have tons of fantastic craft beer in cans and bottles, tons of fantastic craft beer on tap, but we also have, for non-alcoholic options, we've got the craft root beer. We have a non-alcoholic beer. We have various soda options, Gatorade. For alcoholic non-beer options, we've got different types of hard seltzers.
Okay.
We've got various canned cocktails as well. So if you come in here and you want a rum and cola, you can get that. You want a gin and tonic, you can get that. So all kinds
Very
of different
nice.
options. And, for beer, non-craft beer, you can
Yeah.
get Busch Light, you can get a Mick Ultra, just
True.
a simple beer. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And what days out of the week, for those listening, are you open? Are you open on Sundays too? There's
Yeah.
some places that aren't open Sundays, Mondays.
We are open every single day. So
Wow.
Monday through Thursday, we open at 3, and then Friday we open at noon. Saturday, Sunday, we're open at 10 a.m. So come in,
Very cool.
and we're open early enough that you can get in, get your spot, get ready for football. So
Yeah. And you guys have Sunday ticket?
we do. Yep.
You do?
Yep.
Awesome.
We have Sunday ticket for Sundays. We play all the collegiate games on Saturdays. We actually run some specials during those times. So for each Iowa State, and UNI, anytime they're playing, we have beer specials. A certain brewery is $1 off during that. So
Very cool. Awesome. Yeah, when you walk in, you always have something playing, because all of your screens, which I've noticed I've liked, in my opinion, was they're all on facing the bar. They're not like all over the place where you depending on where you sit, you have to kind of, your neck gets all sore, from,
Right.
turning whatsoever ways. So as soon as you walk in, you see just a wall of screens.
Mhm.
How many screens do you have?
We've got 6. So we have 6 75-inch TVs.
That's crazy.
And that was very intentional that they're all on that one wall at the bar,
Makes sense.
because we wanted to cater to the sports crowd, because it's a huge crowd and it's a fantastic crowd.
Yeah.
But we also didn't want to feel like we were just another sports bar. We wanted to avoid that sort of super bustling, overly, it's hard to describe.
Just grab your wings, go sit kind of
Exactly.
place.
And
Okay.
And so we wanted that comfort, that casual. So you can come in on a Sunday when we've got football all over the screens and not feel like you're at a sports bar. You can grab some games, go sit at a table, hang out, and relax. So
What was really cool was when it was the Packers. Packers, who were they playing? The very first game we were watching. Was it?
Hmm.
I can't remember who was playing. I know the Packers were playing though. It's Steelers maybe. Yeah. And you played the same game on all the screens because
Yes.
everyone wanted to watch the first
Everyone in
football
there
game
wanted to
of the
watch that.
season.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was so trippy to watch, and it's so cool because I was sitting in the back and everyone was just facing that way. Not one table was,
Yeah.
they're having their own thing. Everyone was so engaged, and that was a really cool thing to see.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, it just kind of points out that feeling of community. Everybody's there for that one particular reason, which is to, at that point in time, watch football, but also just to have a good time. And that's kind of what we're trying to do, is create a sense of community. That was the reason that we chose not only this building, but the Uptown area in general. It's such a cool place. There's so many awesome little shops here, and we felt like we could really kind of carve in our own little niche in this community.
Let's talk about traffic. So, what's like one whole week's worth to you guys like of traffic? Does it fluctuate? Has it been pretty consistent?
It does, day by day, it fluctuates as far as like one Tuesday to the next, one Wednesday to the next. But overall, on a weekly basis, it's pretty consistent. Just this last week, we had just shy of 1,000 tickets, which, when you consider that one ticket might be 2 or even 3 different people on there, obviously well over 1,000 people came in here that week. So
that's crazy. Would you say weekends are pretty much the ones that are always packed busy?
Yeah, weekends have kind of leveled off to this consistency where they're just generally buzzing, which is nice. So
because when did you guys open? I mean, you're really new to the scene here in Uptown. When was opening day?
Just over 2 months. So our grand opening was August 3rd. We did a handful of soft openings prior, but August 3rd was basically grand opening, full steam ahead.
Nice. Awesome. Well, you got anything exciting coming up here in the next month or so?
Yeah. We're going to be looking at doing another bags tournament.
Awesome.
So we did one of those a while back that was sponsored by Single Speed, and that went really well. Just a really fantastic turnout. We've got our Halloween coming up. Really, really cool event. We've partnered with a group that's doing a not Harry Potter Triwizard tournament. So, because you can't say it's, but
that's true.
No, it'll be a really cool event. We're going to have all kinds of, spooky beer specials, things like blood orange wheat and that are going to be on sale. And awesome. I just got in some surf zombies, and, I'm just kind of trying to play around that and start doing some decorating going forward. I love Halloween, so it's I'm excited to put that into the tap room.
Awesome. And as far as business goes with like a brewery, would you say that it's a big part of the economy for like a city like Ankeny? You think that you guys make a significant difference when it comes to business?
I hope so. I really do. I hope that we, not only Ankeny as a whole, but talking about this Uptown area, I really do hope that we make a difference in helping pull people to this place. I think I've gotten the question a lot of times, particularly in regards to the other brewery here in town, which is Fire Trucker, which is a fantastic brewery. Awesome. Yeah, they're great. Dan's a wonderful guy, and I've had people, ask, well, do you think, are you guys at odds with each other, or something like that? People think there's going to be this animosity, and
everyone's minds tend to go that
they
route.
do.
I don't
they
understand
do, and
why.
And I've met with Dan. I've talked with him, and like I said, he's a fantastic guy, and we're excited to work on some events together. And I think everybody in this area has the same mindset, which is, let's make Uptown this cool hot spot that people want to go, and you want to spend a day walking around.
Totally.
Go to the farmer's market. Once you're done there, hop over to Fire Trucker because it's right next door, and then maybe over to Uptown Food and Beverage for some pizzas or something, and round out your day here with some beers and some bags. Stop in at the gallery.
Well, and I've noticed something too, because I'm in this part of town a lot, and there's people that come to see you guys because you have that reach with the collaboration of other breweries coming in that come to Uptown because they want to see you, and then they're like, this place is awesome. This whole street is full of shops. It's full of food, and stuff to do. So they're like the trail's right there, so you got a lot of cyclists come in, bikers,
Yeah.
riding through Uptown. So that's what I think has been unique every time there's a business that comes in, especially one like yours that people come in and then they end up going and enjoying local business.
Yeah, check everything else out. It brings you to this area. Admittedly, prior to this, I hadn't spent a lot of time in the Uptown area. And so for me to be able to become familiar with the whole place and see how many cool shops there were, I mean, I knew there were places like Leaning Tower and the Clipper, Fire Trucker, of course. And that was about it. I'd never had a Porch Light coffee, and they're fantastic. So, it's really cool to kind of see that myself. And then if I can help replicate that in other people and bring them here and show them how cool this space is while also serving them some beer, that's a win.
Awesome. Well, another thing I wanted to get your expertise on was for other breweries that are smaller listening to this, possibly, what advice would you give them to kind of, they feel like no one's wanting to come to, we have great beer or something, but we just can't grab that crowd and they're in a smaller town or something. What's one thing you think you've seen here that works that you can maybe give them some advice on?
I would say, number one, listen to your patrons, see what they want. One of the things that I had considered doing for a while was bingo. And I actually just started asking people at the bar, hey, what would you think if we did this? And I got a lot of positive feedback. And then this last week was our first Tuesday night bingo, and we had over 50 people show up on the first night.
Wow.
I mean, it was a fantastic crowd. And so I think coming up with cool events, whatever it may be, and then just kind of bouncing it off of your target audience. They're the ones that are going to either come or not. They're the ones that'll make or break it. So you can have all the best ideas in the world, but if your customers don't think they're good ideas, then that's kind of it.
Well, and you manage this place so well, and your team and everything. I think since it's
thank you.
Also, everyone works in unison, and it's just, you could tell that as long as you have teamwork and the clients, the customers coming in are happy, it just ends up working out. But I think all the events you have throughout the week also brings in new people.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
would you say events are like super important?
Yeah. Yeah. I think events are really important. I think keeping it fresh. Our events I look at similar to my tap list, and I'm constantly rotating the beers that I have on tap.
Yeah.
And that keeps people coming in. Oh, hey, they got that new one from Toppling Goliath. Let's go get that. Or, oh, hey, they have that new one from Confluence. Let's go get that. And doing that with events. And this, we're doing a bags tournament. Well, then we did a, foaling thing, and we've done all kinds of different stuff, and trying to keep that fresh and unique and exciting. I think people like that.
Awesome. Well, to sort of finish things off here, if there is a craft brewery place that's also kind of out there in Iowa that wants to get some reach and would love for you to taste some of their stuff and, maybe collaborate in the future with, how could they reach out to you? How can they find this place?
Yeah. Well, the best way is to just come to the tap room. I kind of live here at the moment, so you'll probably find me here. But otherwise, reach out on Facebook,
Cool.
or you can hit me up on email as well. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
GM@uptowngaragebrewing.com.
Awesome.
So pretty easy to remember there. But yeah, absolutely. Shoot me on Facebook, email.
Yeah. And you're on Instagram.
We're on Instagram and Twitter as well. So
awesome. Very cool.
Kind of however you want to reach out, we'll get it.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Alex, for tuning in with us, and we'll see you guys next time.